Nowadays, all over the world, they use alkaline still to make vodka, right? So if everybody's using the same process of distillation, meaning continuous distillation process, how do you make a difference between ordinary and premium vodka? Well, we realize that even though you can distill a spirit at 94, 96%, you will still have some traces of flavor within that spirit, right? In that 4 or 6%. Now, we realize if we use something like grass or a plant, like a grass like sugarcane, or a plant like agave, right? Or maybe a root like potatoes or beets, the flavor that comes out of this vodka, it's even at 4 or 6%, it's too much in order to be able to call it vodka. So most of the time, if we do a distillation process with sugarcane, potatoes, or beets, we will have to filter to charcoal in order to reduce the flavors in that spirit. Now, when you filter to charcoal, you not only reduce the flavors, you also reduce the texture of the vodka. So the vodka, when you mix it with something, it tastes like water, right? So you need texture as well, right? And we realize the less proteins the sugar source, meaning the ingredient for the fermentation, the less proteins that it produces or has, the less flavors it will produce, right? And we realize there's certain grains that produce very few proteins, therefore making a pure vodka. That's why, in general sense, we can say that a premium vodka is usually made out of grain, right? Do you agree with that? Now, just to make you to understand this concept of sugar and proteins, or carbohydrates and protein, what's more tasteful, a piece of meat or a spoonful of rice? Now, a spoonful of rice, it's nice, it's good, but meat has a lot more flavor, right? So proteins have more flavor. Therefore, the less proteins the grain has, the less flavor it will have in the spirit. Therefore, a better vodka is produced. All right? Now, if we consider grain, well, not just any grain can be used, right? Because if we consider that rice is a grain, we can say that 1,000 years before Russians and Polish were doing a spirit, we were actually making a grain spirit in China 2,800 years ago, right? They were making something similar to sake, which is a wine made out of rice, and distill that wine in order to make a spirit, all right? Now, have you ever tried Chinese spirit? It's a white bottle with a red cap. Have you tried it? Well, you're not missing much, all right? Now, this it's got a very particular taste. And the thing is, every time you go to dinner in China with somebody who's a local person, they will bring out bottles and bottles of it, all right? And they will not stop bringing bottles until somebody drops dead, basically, all right? Now, have you ever hosted a Chinese wedding? Dude, look it up on YouTube, all right? They drink until somebody drops on the table. I mean, it's unbelievable. The tradition, it's unbelievable, all right? Now, I've had that experience. I don't want to go through it again, all right? So not just any grain can make vodka then. Yeah? You have a question? What was that? No, I didn't, but I almost had to be carried out. Yeah, I must admit, in Shanghai, yeah? I had to go straight from the restaurant to the hotel. Yeah? No partying for me after that, right? Now, so not every grain can make a good vodka. Now, if we think about it, there's a grain that has a lot of protein in it, which is corn. We know that corn, we can even make oil from it. So a lot of protein, a lot of fat, right? So corn, bourbon, flavorful, great, right? For vodka, it's not that good, right? We realize there's 3 grains that have the least amount of protein out of all the grain, which is, and to make a pure vodka, which is rye, barley, and wheat, right? They contain so little protein, they could actually make a better tasting vodka right out of the still. Okay? Now, any questions? Doubts? Yes, sir. Barley, rye, barley. Barley is what we used to make beer and whiskey, right? Cebada, yes, cebada, right? So barley, rye, and wheat, right? Now, we have distillation, right? So we have to consider the distillation process, all right? We have to consider the sugar source. There's one ingredient that we're missing, which is water. Right? Obviously, this is only 40% alcohol. Therefore, the other 60%, at least, is water. Right? So in order to make a difference between an ordinary and a premium vodka, you have to consider the way it's distilled. Right? The more it's distilled, the purer the spirit will be. Right? As soon as you distill it at least 3 times, you have a good vodka. Right? 4, 5, and more, better vodka yet. Right? So the more you distill, the purer the vodka will be, right? The sugar source, right? The less protein it has, right? The better tasting vodka will be, right? And at the end of the day, the water, right? Now the water is important, right? Because water brings minerals or lack of, right? And therefore will make a difference in terms of the taste of that vodka, right? Now, as you see, everybody has received a notebook like this, all right? Hopefully you like it and use it, all right? Keep it with you. It's yours, all right? Now, I also have other gifts that I would like to give you. Yet, I don't have enough for everybody, all right? So I have to make a raffle. Now, in order to make it fair, right, what we're going to do is you're going to take that notebook, you're going to take one page out of that notebook, and you're going to give me that page, all right? At the end, not now, all right? What you're going to do, you're going to put your name on top, okay, of that page, right? The first page, you can find that it's empty, all right? Put your name on it, and I'm going to give you 4 questions throughout the presentation, all right? Now, the 4 questions are going to be exactly about the last thing we just discussed, right? So it shouldn't be too hard, right? But it's going to be multiple choice, A, B, C, and D, right? Now, at the end of the presentation, you have your name, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And the letter of the answer right next to that number, all right? You have to write the answer. You have to write the question because the paper is going to give it to me, all right? So you're not going to see it again, all right? So just put the name and the letter of the answer, all right? At the end, we're going to put it in a bucket. We're going to draw a paper, and if it has all 4 questions correctly, you get a gift, right? Do we agree? Fantastic. All right. So take a paper in that notebook, all right? Put your name on top, all right? Make sure you don't write anything else on that paper because you're not going to see it again, all right? Any notes you want to do it in another piece of paper, all right? That one piece of paper is going to be for me, all right? So put your name on it, all right? Bless you, all right? Now, if you don't want to participate, it's okay. It's no problem, all right? Gifts are nice. Very good, all right? In order to participate, you need to turn in a paper, and it's got to have 4 correct answers, all right? Now, first thing we need to know of what we talked today, right, is that in order to make a difference, right, to know the difference between an ordinary vodka and a premium vodka, we need to consider 3 things. First, we need to consider the sugar source, right? What kind of sugar source they use for the fermentation, right? The better it is, the better vodka will be, all right? The less proteins it has, grain, right, the better the vodka will be. The distillation, the more you distill, obviously, the better vodka will have. The more you distill, the less flavors you will have at the end, all right? And third, but not least, the water, all right? The water either brings mineral or lack of minerals for the taste and texture of the vodka, all right? Any questions? All right, so the first question for that piece of paper, all right? You put your name on top, number 1, period. What makes a vodka ordinary or premium? A, the water. B, the sugar source. C, distillation, or D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer for this question? Put number 1, period, and the letter of the correct answer, all right? Is it A, the water, B, the sugar source, C, distillation, or D, all of the above, all right? All right, now the questions are private. You don't copy from the next person next to you, all right? All right? A, B, C, or D? What's the correct answer there? Just one letter, all right? Any questions? All right, now, anybody got the answer? All righty then. Now, we can go blue on the face talking about the different ways that vodkas are made, all right? And try to realize whether they're premium or not just on the story of how they're made. All right. Now, some vodkas and most vodkas will make a fantastic story of the way they're made in order to, make you think or feel as if that vodka is a premium vodka or a super premium vodka. At the end of the day, the only way you can prove it is by what? Tasting it. All right. So we're going to be doing a tasting now. All right. Of different vodkas in order to see the different styles of vodka you can get by using different sugar sources, different water, and different distillation processes. All right.